Hey everyone, welcome to the second coaching session. So in this video we're going to be talking about the job, the support job as I like to call it. So this is the thing that you do for money, whether you like it or not. So when we talk about a support job, we first have to consider whether the job is actually supporting. Because you do have a such thing as rent, I assume, or a mortgage or bills, and a need to eat. And while there are a lot of creative ways to get those needs met, a job is sometimes the easiest. But a job is no longer supportive if it sucks your energy to the point where you don't have time to be who you are. You don't feel like you have the creative resources to generate what is inspiring to you. You don't have time to cultivate your passions and feel alignment in your purpose. At that point, a job is no longer supporting you. Even if it is giving you some sort of financial fulfillment, it's not acceptable for you to be sacrificing your vitality for that financial fulfillment. So that means that a change must be made. So I want to start there because today we're going to be talking about exit strategy. And when we talk about an exit strategy, oftentimes the first obstacle that people encounter is they're not sure whether or not they should quit. And I have a very, very simple formula for you. Are you more at ease with the job than you would be without it? Are you happier with the job than you would be without it? Not talking about another job, just plugging in the job, subtracting the job. And that gives you an indication of whether you should quit now. Now, you may be fearful, you may have concerns. It's actually not a good idea to put yourself in a situation that is going to make you feel like you're going into crisis. On the other hand, there's a lot of things that you can do to make adjustments to your life and your interaction with money in such a way that will make it easier for you to make those kinds of transitions. So you can consider downsizing. Now, for some reason, this is the last thing in the world that people want to do. We want to hold on to a quality of life that is often not even that important to us because there is this mentality about going backwards materially. Like if we have a less expensive car, then we are not progressing in life. In actuality, simplifying your life can not only improve your financial situation, but oftentimes it is a more fulfilling way to live. It is often a more sustainable way to live. It is often a more socially conscious way to live. In a lot of ways, simplifying and downsizing it's just a good practice whether you need to financially or not. So when you're considering whether or not your job is something to keep or not, if you are going to be safe without it, consider if your livelihood right now is supporting more than it needs to. So, do you love the home that you live in? Would you be just as happy or maybe happier in a smaller area, in a smaller house, in a less expensive area? Maybe you don't actually want to be living downtown. Maybe you want to be living rurally. Maybe you want to be living in a cottage that is easier to keep up. I don't know what you want, but consider what areas of your life, your car, what are you spending your money on, and is it giving you fulfillment? If it's not, then cut it. You might notice that your ego pipes up with a lot of things to say about looking good and what it looks like to buy used clothes or whatever. Just notice that and follow what feels the best. Follow what feels good in the most expansive way. So downsizing. The next thing to consider when you're considering whether or not you're happier with the job or without the job is what's going to be next. What does without the job look like? What are you going to be doing with your time? Are you going to be going straight to another job? Are you going to want to have time to cultivate another project? How do you set that up? Now, oftentimes what I see is people will avoid, and then they leap. So you stay with that job because it's so scary to move until you literally can't stand it, and then it's like the cork pops up and you explode everywhere and it's a huge destabilizing event. You can actually be intentional about it, and you're going to be more intentional about it the less desperate you are. So if you already know that you are tolerating things that you're not going to tolerate forever, start making your exit strategy now. Start considering how you need to save for whatever's next. If there is going to be another transitional support job that you're going to be taking to lead you into whatever your passion is. Are you going to be going back to school? Hammer out your finances. So again, that when you leave your job, you're not going into crisis mode, which is going to be just another thing that sucks your energy and keeps you from being able to focus on your passion. So there's a lot of different options in there. You could quit your job and then be a bum for a few months and figure things out, relax, take a break. Maybe you move back in with your parents. Maybe you start woofing. There's so many options. Maybe you jump into a job that is that you don't have to take home with you. That is a little. Maybe it's a pay cut. Maybe it's a pay raise. Maybe it's providing something that the job that you're in right now isn't providing. It's giving you support that's lacking where you are now, and that gives you another supplement of. Like, for example, let's say the job that you're in right now has given you great experience, but it's not giving you quite as much money as you enjoy. So you switch to a different job that maybe isn't as inspiring, but is going to help you really build up a nice fat chunk of cash so that you can sail around the world like you've always wanted. Maybe you are going to go into starting your own venture right away. If this is your plan, I would suggest that you do as much as you can now to start easing into that lifestyle without sacrificing the job that you're doing now. This is very, 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 very important. When you are looking at your exit strategy, leaving your job, and you're considering whether or not you're happier here or you're happier without it, at no point is there an excuse to stop doing your job well. You are always practicing something. So if you are practicing doing a job well, you are going to be more prepared for whatever comes next. If you are looking at your current job and thinking all of these negative thoughts and it's sucking you dry and making you not want to participate, you're not really going to be a prime candidate for whatever's next. The next hiring manager isn't going to want you. The next clients aren't going to want you because it's all over you. It's over you if you are out of integrity. So stay in integrity while you're practicing looking at different ways out. So while staying in integrity, you can start developing anything that you think you might be going into. There's a few really valuable things about doing it this way. One is that you get to sample before you are all in, right? So let's say you've got this business partner, you guys are a partner, you're going to be making soaps. Maybe you find out 2 weeks in after starting that you hate working with this person and it's not a good fit at all. And good thing you didn't quit your job. It doesn't mean that you don't need to be starting a business, it just means that there's going to be some fine-tuning to do. And you get to do that fine-tuning while in the comfort of a position that is taking care of you. Another thing that I want to say about that is oftentimes when we're unhappy in the situation that we're in, we don't feel enough energy to start something new, to change our situation. Whether that's starting the business or applying for new jobs, or even considering our finances, looking at our finances enough to make it possible for us to stop working for a little while. All of these things can really suck our energy dry and make it much more difficult to think creatively. So at some point in this life, you have to acknowledge that your happiness is an inside job. It's not circumstantial. This job was not ever going to make you happy. The next job is also not going to make you happy. That business that you're thinking about starting, it's not going to make you happy either. You're always going to want something more. It is one of the divine pleasures of being a human is that you have infinite desires. You will want something more. You will want something different. You will want something better. You will want to feel better. That's going to be a non-stop cycle. So it is your sacred duty to enjoy the process. You got to enjoy where you are. You have to enjoy the fact that you don't enjoy where you are. When you can practice that, when you can enjoy, oh, it is so nice to feel how much I hate this job. It is giving me so much clarity that I don't want to work in a desk ever again. I'm so grateful that I have this experience, that I now know that when I didn't know that when I took this job, and now I do know. I'm so grateful that I've put the effort in here, and I'm so grateful that all of these people are working alongside with me and suffering with me. I'm so grateful for the fact that I'm getting paid even though I'm miserable. There's so much to be grateful for, and you can find a reason to be happy in any situation. It is a practice. That doesn't mean it's going to come easily. It is a practice. Like I said, you are always practicing something. So if you are practicing your joy now, if you're practicing your gratitude and your happiness now, then when that circumstances that you're really excited about come along, you'll be well versed and happy. You'll be well practiced and happy. If you practice being miserable for this whole exit period, then by the time that next job comes along, guess what? It's not going to make you happy. It's going to make you miserable because that's what you're good at. You've gotten really good at being miserable. So you can't expect this exit strategy to solve your internal experience. Your internal experience is your internal experience, and you are going to affect it by being mindful or paying attention to your thoughts and feelings and directing them. So noticing what's good, thinking about what's good, focusing on what's good. When something that's not good shows up, you be grateful that you noticed it. Be grateful that now you have more clarity about what you want and what you don't want. So where are we now? We're exiting our job. So that also brings me to applying for other jobs. Applying for jobs is a bit like, it's a bit like catching raindrops. There's so many jobs. There's so many opportunities for employment. And people have it in their head that that's not the case. It is the case. There are so many jobs. There are so many people that need help with certain things. I am hiring people constantly. There are so many jobs. And it's just a matter of choice. Which one feels the most pleasurable to you? And you can follow this process of looking for jobs from this perspective of joy and excitement and enthusiasm and awareness of the plethora of options and finding what feels the best. And when you find something that feels really good, but there's that one thing, you can keep looking. You can make adjustments. You can make requests. Keep the process as open and ongoing as possible, and your underlying assertion can be that you can have whatever it is that you want. So you may not have whatever it is that you want right now. That's why this video is about exit strategy, right? You're moving from where you are right now, the job that you hate, that doesn't fulfill you, that doesn't support you the way you want to be supported, and you're moving into something else. You're following a trail of desire. You're following a trail of what feels good. By practicing feeling good in the present moment with what you've got, and then following a trail of that also feels good. Well, that also feels good. That title sounds good. That would feel good to wear. That would be a nice thing on my door plate. You follow what is attracting you. An interesting thing about our desire is because we are interconnected with this whole larger system, we are attracted to things that are good for us. This is part of the natural design of our world. Just like flowers are so beautiful and they're so brightly colored so that the bees notice them, and then the bees come and the bees pollinate them and serve them. And there's this symbiotic attraction, right? I'm going to be attractive to you so that you come nourish me, and I'm going to nourish you in return. And that's how we can work. That's how we can look for jobs. You look for what is appealing to you, what is drawing you in, because that is the place where you're going to be most useful. It's going to be the place where you're most fulfilled. Now, you might notice that you receive evidence that things are going badly. You might notice that you see that you're not getting callbacks, that you're not finding what you're looking for. So what you can do with that information, like I said before, when you notice that something isn't working, when something doesn't feel good, that's a time where you get to be grateful for your newfound clarity. Maybe you're getting clarity that your resume sucks. Maybe you're getting clarity that you you need some educating around interviewing. Maybe you're getting clarity that there's fine tuning to be done, right? There's something that's not working, and we don't need to focus on that forever. What we need to focus on is, oh, that's good information for me to make an adjustment with. I'm going to take that information and I'm going to do something valuable with it. But first and foremost, I'm going to check my joy, because my joy is what's going to take me to the next place that works. So how do you feel when you read your resume? How do you feel when you are reading over your business plan? How do you feel when you're looking at your savings account? Take action based on what feels good. It's going to feel a lot better if I have twice that amount of money in my account. So what actions do I feel inspired to do in order to get that result? You can look at your resume. I feel terrible when I look at this resume. It makes me want to puke. What would you say about yourself that would make you feel good? When you're reading your resume, you should feel good when you're reading your resume, because if you don't feel good, then probably no one else reading your resume is going to feel good. And if they don't feel good, then they're probably not going to hire you, because they don't want to be spending every day with somebody who they don't even want to read about. So this is your major indication system it's like your navigation system. Where's the joy? Finding the joy, cultivating the joy, and even cultivating the joy when the information is about what's not working. So I'd love to know if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, the exit strategy, about being intentional with your savings, being intentional with your navigation from where you are now to where you're going, using your navigation system, using your joy as your navigation system, starting now while you have employment, whatever it is that you're wanting to move into, starting that now versus once you're already unemployed. And then we started, of course, with whether or not you're wanting to leave this job in the first place. And again, you know that by your navigation system of how joyful you feel, how able you are to find and cultivate the sweet spots in your day. If you have questions, please send them to me via email, on our Facebook page, in the comments below. All of these avenues are welcome. Any questions, comments, resonance, disagreements, get specific. I love it. Can't wait to hear from you.